Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. Jesus proclaimed the gospel of the kingdom and cured every disease among the people. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Again, Jesus left the district of Tyre and went by way of Sidon to the Sea of Galilee into the district of the Decapolis. And people brought to him a deaf man who had a speech impediment and begged him to lay his hand on him. He took him off by himself away from the crowd. He put his finger into the man's ears and spitting touched his tongue. Then he looked up to heaven and groaned, and said to him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And immediately the man's ears were opened, his speech impediment was removed, and he spoke plainly. He ordered them not to tell anyone, but the more he ordered them not to, the more they proclaimed it. They were exceedingly astonished, and they said, He has done all things well. He makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
One of the great privileges I've had in my 6 years of priesthood is to work as the director of deaf ministry for the diocese. And I still obviously continue that job. And this gospel, whenever it comes up, I always thank God in a particular way for that beautiful ministry that I'm able to share with people. And the reason I bring it up is because in the deaf ministry office, we have a beautiful image of this gospel passage we heard today from Mark, with Jesus with the man who is deaf. And as we heard in the gospel, Jesus places his hand in his ear and on his mouth. And in the image we have in the deaf ministry office, the image is on his hand is on the man's ear, but the other hand is on the man's heart. And the significance for that is because obviously for those who are deaf and cannot hear, they have taught me in a very profound way that God speaks to the heart. God desires to speak to us in the inner depth of our heart. That is where we can truly listen to the voice of God. When we put out all the other distractions in life, we put out all those other distractions, we're able to zero in and listen to that voice. One of the deaf women a few years ago during a retreat, we were chatting and she said to me, I thank God that I am deaf. And I asked her why. And she said, it's so I can listen without distraction. I have nothing to distract me from hearing how God wants to speak to me. So it should be hopefully the same for us, that we can take time each and every day to be quiet, to be in silence, and to open the heart, to open up the heart so that the word, the voice, can come in and begin to speak. So that we not only hear the word, but we ingest it in a sense. We let it grow. We let it be planted deep within us. And that's, I think, simply my reflection for this week as I contemplate my work with the deaf, but for all of us. The challenge is to be quiet, to open up, and to allow the heart to listen to that soft, still voice of God that desires to speak to us. And so I simply end with just our little motto that we have for the deaf office, for the diocese. It's a Jewish proverb that says, "No one is as deaf as the one who will not listen."